I make that motion, Galazinski.
Okay. I'm sorry. So sorry.
Thanks, Drew.
Okay, we'll move on to, so who? Okay, all right, that's done, okay. Public comment, so we'll give, the call-in number for anybody out in the public who would like to comment is 715-538-1770. So we'll wait, how long does, 5 minutes? 2 minutes? Okay.
And we do put it on the agenda that
Okay.
folks have to be present at the beginning of the meeting if they want to do public comment.
Okay, so 2
Or
minutes.
call in at the beginning, yeah. Buzz is calling.
Are you gonna
Hello, Buzz.
speak? Okay, you might wanna come up here so you can.
No, I don't want to sit that close to anybody.
No,
I'm super
Okay.
cautious.
She can hand, then move, you can just give her that one.
oh, I will hand you the microphone,
Perfect.
because
thank you.
otherwise nobody will hear you out in the world.
That's okay, they don't have to.
They're
Well,
fine.
Jean will have to, I guess.
They're kinda heavy, so.
Where do I have to put it?
On your lap,
Oh, like
when you
this?
talk, yeah.
Okay.
And then
You
make
can
sure
just-
you hit that button.
You can just bend that.
And then to hit the,
Yep, you hit that, and it'll turn red. Okay, because I think you're next. Right?
Well, you need to call public comment.
Any more, last call for public comment?
I'm gonna borrow these
So
chairs
this, you're probably, this is the November.
so I can hold stuff.
Good idea.
There we go.
Need your own desk.
I have my own desk.
I get it, being careful.
I have customers that I can't afford to get sick. Or my grandchildren.
Me neither. My little baby grandson already had COVID. I can't wait till 2-year-olds can get vaccines.
I'll stay on the phone with you while you try to come back.
I'm gonna close, has 2 minutes has gone by, right? Okay, I'm closing public comment, and we'll move on to item number 7 on the agenda, Trempealeau Trails Bicycle Organization presentation. Linda, take over.
Hello, my name is Linda Mossman. I am the secretary of the Trempealeau Trails Bicycle Association, a nonprofit here in Trempealeau County. I'm going to give you a brief history because we have some new members, Mike, new members to the committee.
Ma'am, can you sit at the table, please?
No, I
She
can't.
can't, she doesn't want, she's
I'm-
trying to be, it's hard to social distance in here, there's not a lot of space.
Okay, well, she's not gonna be on camera then.
Okay,
That's
but
a-
you can hear her, right? Okay.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to give you a brief history and then the phases of the bicycle club. At any point in time, I'm boring you. What, Rob?
Well, let me just hop in quick too. So I think how having you come to this meeting started out is there is a grant that's available right now through the state of Wisconsin. It's a tourism, basically capital project grant. And what it's for is shovel-ready product, or shovel-ready projects. And when I saw that grant hit my inbox, the first thing I thought about was signing our bike trails. You know, I know Linda and the whole group has done an incredible job of planning out, you know, the routes over the years. So my thought was this would be a great project to be applied towards. So pass the grant over to Linda and their group, and then I think Linda, you wanted to come and talk to the group. So here we are. So just giving a little background on why you're here today. So
Thank you.
Yes.
And ultimately, what we're asking for is a letter of possible support from this committee. I don't know how it would be used in the grant. The grant is not written. It's only about 70% right at this moment. I do have a budget. However, if at all possible, I could use a sentence or something out of a support letter in the grant while we're writing it. So, to get to that point, I thought it would be kind of interesting to go back to the history. The Bicycle Association was formed in 1999, and probably the only member still here is John Ossen, when they did the $39,000 grant from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. Walter Orway and our son Travis developed the 17 loops that are still in existence today with that money. And they also generated, I'll pass these around and you can take a look at them, but I'd like them back. They're historical documents. Those are some of the early drawings of what maps were at that time. I want you to all remember, in 1999, there were 300,000 approximately static pages on the internet. That was, Oak Park Inn had one. It was our picture, our name, our address, and our phone number, and that was the extent of the internet. Also at that time, a cell phone was still in a bag. You had to have it in your car. And the intent of the bicycle loops was to bring tourism into Trempealeau County. It was never designed for the bicyclists or the residents of Trempealeau County to go ride. It was to bring tourism in. At the time, within the Wisconsin Department of Tourism, we were 71 out of 72 counties. So we were at the bottom of the bottom, generating tourism dollars. That carried on to 2003 when they ran out of money. In 2008 to 2012, Ron McKernan, many of you might know him, took over the club. Travis and I were exhausted. And Ron's emphasis changed to, it became the Bicycle Club of Trempealeau County. His emphasis and the group emphasis was on weekly rides, sponsoring and putting on events. And at that time, they wanted to put together a brochure, which was similar to the one that I included, the blue brochure. The first ones were not that sophisticated. However, I did include the rides that they put on, and many of you, according to Jean, will remember the Hip Breaker in May, Memorial Day in Arcadia, the Whitehall Ride, which is still in existence, the Tour de Trempealeau, which was a 3-day ride through the county, and Apple Affair, which is still in existence today. In 2009, there was a piece in the New York Times, and that sponsored the, amongst other things in our marketing efforts, Bicycling Magazine to put out a national piece on the Trempealeau trails, which kind of elevated the whole events. In 2011, Ron became ill, and so Travis once again stepped up to take over the bicycling. And I can't remember what 4 or 5 years in this time period. Maybe John has a better memory or Jean has a better memory than I do. But the county was sponsoring $5,000 a year out of the county budget to be split evenly between the Tourism Council, bicycling, and Olin's Motor Coach. We kind of we kept it going between that $1,600. Ron had some money in his checking account from from events, and the Tourism Council donated some money, and we put up a website for about $3,000. In 2015, Travis applied for and received $60,000 in CapEx 2020 funds. And what he did with that money is he signed 92 miles, 222 signs with 40 new posts, 4 completed loops, and he filed for nonprofit status. That was about $650 a mile. In 2018 to currently, you see what we've been doing. So the phases of the bicycle organization. Phase 1 was the formation and the creation. Phase 2, would this work? Would this idea work out there? Were there people interested in coming to Trempealeau County? And then the organized rides. Phase 3 was the advertising and marketing with digital media became a tool. Phase 4 was the signage following Wisconsin State DOT regulations in all cases. 60,000 CapEx 2020, and now the final part of Phase 4 would be a application for $375,000 to complete the 15 loops remaining in Trempealeau and Buffalo counties. Phase 4 or 5 would be to apply and receive for the state of Wisconsin trail designation. To our knowledge, and we've asked several people within the Department of Tourism, We've asked people within the DOT. There is no other project in the state of Wisconsin similar to what we want to accomplish. So we would be the first. We would market it as such and sell advertising, etc. And the final phase would be for trailhead signage in 13 cities, villages, and parks, including Petrie Park, the town of Buffalo, and that would be, we'd have to raise $135,000 to complete that aspect. Questions? I brought more information, but sometimes more should be less. So tell me what you want me to talk about.
You're pretty thorough.
Yeah, I recall the struggle that we had with DOT and creating the signs, because they're very specific about what they accept. And I remember when Travis had these really cool signs, but then you have to just follow the rule, and it got to be a little expensive, but it was, worth it. And I hear people, talking about our bike trails that are in existence right now very positively, and people ride past our house all the time, so we're on one of the trails.
The original $60,000 was a learning experience, we will admit that. And to become a Wisconsin DOT-approved trail required more information and more regulations and statutes than we were prepared for to begin with.
And they weren't very helpful all the time either.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a learning experience. You
Right,
don't know
right.
the questions you need to ask until you're already in the process or probably made a mistake.
Right.
So, our signs are the right size, the right colors, follow an engineering report that has specifically, I did bring engineering reports. Does anybody want to see one? They're kind of interesting if that's your, okay, you want to pass those around? I do need those back because those are Travis's.
Oh, okay.
So those I need back. The rest of this, if you want to pass one around and take it, it gives you a more detailed description of what we did do. Everything we have done so far to date allows us to move forward with the project. It's financing, it's funds, that's what it comes down to. Technology is now to the point that we have access to applications and things we didn't have when we began. So when we went out, we were putting up signs, there was no GPS locator. You couldn't download one on your phone. And then the other thing is, in Trempealeau and Buffalo County, there's a lot of places today you do not have phone service. So that helped us. Cell phone service coverage is getting better. However, you'll see, I included some pictures. I went out and drove and took some pictures of the signs that have been installed. And people always ask me, well, why with the technology today do you need a sign? And it's real simple. There's people that don't want something in their ear where they're bicycling that's constantly telling them what to do. Part of getting out there is to be outside, to get the exercise, to look at the scenic beauty, and do you want something telling you, turn right here? So they'd rather follow a sign. The other thing is, you'll see when you get to page, if you took one of these, look at page 3 of 8 on the second handout. At the bottom of the page are 2 signs, and they have paper bags on them. There's a reason. I go out there in May, and I tie a paper bag around the sign, because there is no street sign. There is nothing, there's no cell phone service on the top of the ridge. So you're up there and you've just climbed a 10-mile incline on County Road X. You're at the top of the ridge, and there's nothing to tell you to turn left or right. So I go up and I tie a bag on the sign. I've asked for street signs to be put in Buffalo County. For some reason, they can't keep them up there. I don't know. So there are places where if we didn't have a sign, they'd be out there lost. It's an enhancement to the project.
Yeah, I can't imagine any trail not having signs, even hiking trails. I depend on those signs all the time.
Sure.
Because your GPS doesn't, you have to download an app to hook onto trails, and your GPS doesn't always work wherever you are.
If you don't have cell phone
Right,
service.
so signs are like. You can't do it without a sign.
Correct.
So Linda, let me ask this. To get all of the routes, all the routes that you have established, signed, how much is that grant cost? And are you applying for that full amount in this grant?
We are applying for $375,000, which we hope will cover the cost of signing the remaining 15 loops. The problem is going to come into, and we're not going to know this until, unfortunately, we get into it. We are dealing with Buffalo County, and we're dealing with 17 townships, which we have to have, and the county, which we have to have permission for. So that requires Travis or I going to 17 townships, Buffalo County, and Trempealeau County to a meeting to get a resolution that says they will allow us to do this utilizing existing signage. Now, we don't have to have permission if we're going to put up all new signs. As I understand it, the state said we didn't have to, but it would be nice. But if we want to use existing signage in any roadway that's appropriate by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation standards, we have to get permission. So we go into Buffalo County, and I don't know why they would say no, but they say no. That means instead of having out of 222 signs, 21 of them being new posts, we have to put in 200 new posts at $200 a pop. There goes your budget. And we're looking into the feasibility of having a private contractor put the signs in. And until the engineering report is done, we don't know how many that is. So it's kind of this progression.
And then, like you said, you're looking from this committee just to lend its support, to write a letter of support, which I don't think anyone would oppose. I mean, I think they would enthusiastically want to do that, and of course I do. I guess, is there anything
got
else
one
you're
more
looking
out there.
for from the committee or the county at this time on
Nope,
this?
all I'm requesting is a letter of support. We'll see how it goes. We're not gonna spend, tons of time doing this if we don't get the grant.
So then what is if you don't get the grant, what's kind of the long-term plan on implementing, getting these routes signed?
There isn't one.
It's really expensive.
That's $375,000.
It's very expensive. Even the little signs are very expensive.
That's a real challenge, yeah, because I think getting these spots signed is really important. And what is your openness to working, if you guys can't do it as an organization, letting the county step up and try to do more of that?
I think that's a conversation you need to have with Travis.
Yeah.
I'm the secretary, I'm the mom. That's,
Yeah. I know before my time, there's been overtures of working, of where the county can be more of assistance, and often those conversations haven't been too productive. So, yeah, maybe it's time to enter into them again.
but then, and I agree, and that's a conversation you should have with Travis, by all means, and see what he's got, see where it goes. It's a lot of money. You're looking at $500,000 pretty easily.
Yeah.
if you do and the trailhead signs are almost as important as the signage on the road. People need to know where to go to park. People need to know where they can go for public restrooms. People need to be able to look at a big map and say, this is what I can do from where I'm parked right now.
Mm-hmm.
And those are about $10,000 a pop.
Jeannie, this is Jean.
Yes?
Full disclosure, I've worked with Linda for, I don't know, 20-some years or whatever. And in regards to biking, I can tell you the things that she's saying are right on the spot. The Wisconsin Department of Tourism used to support some financial, but more through marketing, biking, and then that stopped. But they have found that because biking is and has always been something that people have enjoyed, not only community members, but tourists and visitors and day trippers, that they are now repeating doing their biking maps and whatever. And unfortunately with the MRT, which I will be chit-chatting about, is the Mississippi River Trail, which bikes for the whole Mississippi River. We unfortunately can't, nor do we have finances that could help for this cause. However, I think it's extremely important that we, as the Parks, Tourism, Economic Development Committee, form a letter of support for this and help them in any way that we can, because it is important, especially now more than ever with COVID, being outside, continuing to be with friends and family. You're outside, you're exercising. So.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. So, do we need a motion to, okay. I would ask for pardon me?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Okay, we have, did you get the? Okay, you got it, okay. All right, we will do it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And then Linda, when's the application deadline?
November 12th at 2:00.
Yep,
So we're working on it daily.
you
but
betcha. Yep, I'll get something drafted still this week for you. So,
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Is it something that's just strictly bicycling, this grant that you're going through?
Yes,
Because what I'm getting at is, I spend a lot of time in Sawyer County. Everybody's heard of Brookbiner.
yes.
Mountain biking has gotten big up in that area, and this is basically tour biking here.
Yes.
Is there a possibility to go into the Brookbiner Foundation and ask them for a letter of support for our area down here?
We are limited, it's a good suggestion, Bob, and we'd asked various other groups to give us letters of support. When you get into the application process, you are limited to the amount of characters that can be included in the application, and each question is like 350 characters per question, and there's 5 questions. So just explaining what this is will take up pretty much everything
Okay.
we can do.
Just a question.
But it's a good suggestion.
Yes? Do you have a problem, sir? Oh, okay. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. Did I get all of Travis's transportation?
Oh, wait, don't
studies
leave
back?
yet. Here's this.
And his book?
If you need this map.
Nope,
you
I
can-
don't need that. You
Okay.
can, anything you don't want, I'll take and put in my file.
Thanks for your
Hang it
work
up.
on this.
You're welcome, thank you.
As soon as we get everything set up on the computer, we'll move to item number 8, which is the Trempealeau County Outdoor Rec Plan update and discussion. Or is there going to be possible action on this today? Not today? Next month?
Action, but next month.
Next month? Okay. Okay. When is the deadline to have it submitted to the state?
Well, we don't formally submit it to the state per se.
Right.
But we need to have it done by the end of the year.
Okay, so by December 31st?
Yep, yep.
Okay. Does the state see our, don't they see our plan? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well.
Turn your mic on.
Yes, yep. So while we're getting this shared up on the screen, just to go to Jeannie's question, this is due by the end of the year. We will have final approval at our December PTED meeting, and then the December full county board meeting. I'll be coming to your meeting and just giving a short presentation on it, and then approving it. That's always been the timeline we've kind of been on with it. So, is it shared? Awesome.
Once, since our meeting is early in December, and we approve this plan, could you please send an electronic copy to every county board member? And I would hope they would look at it
Yeah.
and read it before we make before they vote at the December meeting.
You bet, and that we'll both send a copy of the plan and with a letter.
Okay.
Well before. So as you recall from our last meeting, we spent a lot of time kind of looking at what our goals were going to be, what our objectives were going to be, and from that, we developed kind of a comprehensive implementation chart that we incorporated into the plan. So hopefully, this isn't I did email out the plan last Thursday. Actually, Becky, do you mind? There's two copies also inside of those binders there. So hopefully you've looked at this before today. And if you haven't, there are a couple copies in the binders as well. I did ask if anyone needed a copy printed out. Didn't hear anything back, so I didn't print and deliver any copies to anyone before today. So we're not. Basically, what I'm going to do is go over the most important parts, kind of the highlights of the plan. We're about 95% done at this point. Really, what we're going to do is between now and December, kind of take a breath, review it again, see if there's any last things we need to change or update. And then again, it'll go to you all for your final approval December meeting and then December county board meeting. So, is there an issue?
Yeah, you lost your internet connection.
Oh no, we lost the internet connection. All right.
So this one.
I should add, we had I've throughout this process that we've been working on for the last year, I've been partnered with Abby Nicewander, who is the senior planner for the Mississippi River Regional Planning Commission, and she has done a tremendous job of assisting us with this plan. We had a subgroup made up of myself, Buzz, and Jeannie that have also been working on this. And we did have a meeting last week where we went over some kind of final thoughts and some updates and that sort of thing. So again, we're not going to go through the whole thing right now because it is 80-some pages, but the biggest pieces I want to talk about is a lot of this plan is information, right? It helps organize information about general tourism, outdoor recreation, which also are tourism assets within Trempealeau County. So we spend a big piece of the plan talking about both local, state, and federal areas that are open to outdoor recreation opportunities, all the way from hiking to biking to canoeing to paddling, all of those different things. So we inventory many of those assets, and again, so that for the next 5 years, this will both serve, most importantly, as a guide for some things we should be working on, but also can remind us what do we already have, and where are the partnerships we can build with different things we already have here in Trempealeau County. So again, what I really want to get to is the implementation piece, because if you recall from the last meeting we went through and ranked and had a robust conversation on that, and now we've kind of put together an implementation table. one suggestion that Buzz had at our meeting last Thursday was early on, instead of having to go through the whole plan to get to the implementation piece, early on, we added in how you could get directly to the priority areas. So one thing, when this report, some people may print it out, but a lot of people will read it online. One thing you're going to be able to do with this is there'll be hyperlinks that take you directly to certain parts. So if you see what I did there, this hops us all right away to the implementation priorities, and that is right in the introduction. So right away, if you don't want to necessarily look at all the inventory pieces, but you want to look at, okay, what is Trempealeau County going to be trying to work on in the years ahead, it takes you directly to that. And basically, the implementation priorities, they are the things that we discussed at the last meeting. One of the edits that we did at the last meeting is folks wanted working on the ATV issue to be moved up. So we did. We moved that up into the high priority area, which it wasn't before. We've refined some of just the description of the projects and that sort of thing. But the most important, I just want you to kind of see how we're laying out the implementation ideas. First we list what it is, and we list what priority that this committee that we've given it. Then we talk about describing what the project is. So what is it? What is the project? What is sort of our timeline for doing it? Because of course, if you just don't have a timeline, how do you know when to focus on it? And then leads and first steps. So this idea is who are the people within the Department of Land Management or other partnerships that should be working on the project, and what are the first steps to even get the ball rolling? Because that's often the biggest piece of some of these projects is what's your first step? And we've worked that in. We've made a list of partners, folks that that we can partner with to try to accomplish these things, and then finally possible funding sources, because all those elements are essential to actually get these things accomplished. So just going through the implementation priorities, you can see that's how we've laid it out. We've gone into some great description, but I will say a lot of these areas that we as a committee have put together, a lot of it is a plan to do some additional planning as well. We don't have a full plan in here on, one of our priority areas is creating more accessibility on, the Trempealeau River for people to be able to paddle wide sections of it. Maybe creating a actual route in Trempealeau County that is mapped and that we can help market. Well, that takes a lot of deeper planning to actually implement. But we have the elements of it in here, and then it will become part of our work plans to actually get that accomplished. So there are pieces in here where, again, it is not a full, with schematics and measurements and costs and that, but it is saying this is a priority, so now let's get the plan to actually get that piece done. One very helpful piece of that will be the establishment, which is part of our priorities, of a implementation group that is made up of different entities, whether it's Rod and Gun Club members, members of the bike organization, staff, that are part of a group that regularly meets to see how are we implementing this plan. And then the other important aspect is regular updates to this committee on where we are on implementing these aspects. It may not be every meeting, it may be every other, it may be quarterly. That's something we will establish as a group at how often we want an update on where we are on implementing certain pieces of this plan. Buzz made a good point at our meeting the other day too, that there's a lot on here. It's all important. But we also don't want to get lost in doing everything that we aren't accomplishing some things very well. So, one area where there seems to be a lot of interest, for example, is again helping provide more canoe and kayak launches here in Trempealeau County, whether it be at Petrick, whether it be at other bodies of water here in Trempealeau County. So some of those are higher, even though in the high priority list, some things are listed a bit higher because they may take a little more precedence because we can get some of those things more accomplished. But everything on the list is important. And again, that accountability piece, reporting back to the committee on where we're at, is going to be built in to the future work plans of whether myself or if Reed's working on some of these things or other members of the Department of Land Management or others. So, so that's where we are with the implementation chart. I think it's very robust. I never like to compare to another plan and say, look, it's great because others don't have it, but I haven't seen this in other outdoor rec plans, and I think what this actually does, if you look at our old outdoor rec plan, we had one page that had ranked priorities, but there was no follow-up in there to actually how to accomplish any of these things. This, I think, gives us real action and real accountability for how we get some of these things accomplished in the next 5 years. So, the next piece, this is a piece where there's still some work to be done because I'm waiting for more feedback from the municipalities. But basically, it's a listing of the parks within our municipalities and what are some of their plans coming up in the years ahead. We worked that in just to be a general guide, but this is not the end-all, be-all for the municipalities in terms of their projects because I may have mentioned this at a prior meeting. Once this plan is done and accepted, the Mississippi River Regional Planning Commission will be going to every municipality in Trempealeau County and at no cost to the municipalities, asking them if they also want their own piece added to this outdoor rec plan. So basically, they can adopt this plan as being their outdoor rec plan, or they could take this and then add on sections at the end that are specifically for that municipality. So basically, you're getting a very focused, in that case, you're getting a very focused plan, not only for the county, but then very specifically for your municipality. So some may say, nope, we're going to go with the county's one, that's the one we'll adopt. Or they may say, well, actually, yes, let's work with you. Let's add on, a 10-page section that goes into a lot of detail specifically at what we want to do at this park or this walking area or that sort of thing. So again, it's a bit like the comprehensive plan. If you look at the comprehensive plan, there's many, I think hundreds of pages of that plan, but it's because I think all the municipalities have their own sections at the end that they worked with the Mississippi River Regional Planning Commission. So, yeah, Jeannie.
And this particular plan is a vehicle for organizations to utilize in seeking conservation grants, correct?
That is a piece of it, yep. And then if they had more specific projects that they want to work in, they could do that with their own, the town of Sumner could
Right.
say, yes, we would like to add a lot of specificity in certain plans. Let's add it at the end of, or I guess I don't want to necessarily say the end. It might be in a different place, but yeah.
Because I think it's important for people who may be listening to understand that this is really important for
Yep.
every village, town in Trempealeau County. This is how we help support them in doing things that are important to them.
Exactly,
They had
yep.
over 200 kids I keep talking about that New Strum Trail, but they had a special thing for kids, and there were a ton of kids and families at it.
Yeah, that's an incredible trail system they have up there. Yep. So, and then at the end, some that's red is what things I'm waiting on. Waiting on some things from the Village of Strum still, but.
Speaking of Strum.
Speaking of Strum. So, piece of this is, it talks a little bit, an important piece is, funding sources. So, just, again, another way, though we've got much of it built into the implementation plan, also kind of a glossary, if you will, or literally an appendix of what grant and financial opportunities there are out there to help implement some of this plan, organized in one place, so that whoever's looking at this plan, they can look at it and see, oh, okay, these are some of the traditional DNR grants and that sort of thing that help fund these important projects. And then finally, what we have is just all sorts of different maps that can be used as reference pieces that show information about Trempealeau County, but specifically our outdoor recreation opportunities. So all sorts of the maps, land records, a lot of these are maps that they have made over the years. Some are newer than others, but again, puts them all in one place. Yep.
In your map section, is there a mapping of where the trout easements are in Trempealeau County?
Yes. So one thing to keep in mind, yeah, trout streams, and then the easements are built into it, but I think there's another one as well. One thing is with these on the paper map, a lot of it is hard to see. We've got the online mapping of that as well, where you can.
That's what I mean, is that
Yep.
Most people, if they're going fishing or something,
You bet.
have a telephone, punch it in.
Yep.
And look at it right on an app.
Yeah, that was something that Land Records did for us last year, and it's on the digital map as well. But yes, you can see right where the easements are. There's I forget how many feet out they drew. I think is it 50 feet basically on each side? Is it 60? 60 feet. Yes, we've got that map in here, and we've got an online map of that as well. Not to go into the weeds, part of our goals is to look at all of our mapping and see where we can enhance it and where can we use, for example, like the studio, where we could go out and actually make videos of some of these things, make it so it's as user friendly as possible. You can, more than just seeing it on a map, we can actually experience it. So, hey, you want to see the easement on a certain trout stream? You also can click here and see the video where we take a little walk around it. You can orient yourself on where maybe you can park legally and get into it and that sort of thing. So,
I have a question. I have a quick
yes.
question. And maybe this already exists somewhere in our cyber world here, but could we create an app specifically for Trempealeau County on just having access to our maps for outdoor recreation stuff?
we have talked about that, and that is a possibility. We could create a Trempealeau County app. Yeah.
Because there's sort of like this universal app. It's on my phone. I can't think of what it is, but you can access different. Because I was able to access the telemark trail when we were starting it, and then it shows you where it follows you as you're walking and shows you where you walked. So I think we need to look at developing a Trempealeau County outdoor rec app so
Yeah.
that you just click on it and it's all there.
And I think, what's great about that, and I think Mike and I have talked a little bit about that app piece too. I've talked to Ann about it before. Because we've got so many of these maps, built into the online map now, converting some of that data basically into an app, I think is easier because Land Records has done the hard work of getting it onto an online map, putting it into an app. We've done a lot of the legwork to probably be able to do that.
Yeah, it would be so cool.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to go to the outdoor plan, click on the map. You just have the app when you're out in the field and,
Yep.
okay, here's the trout stream I'm looking for and this is where the landings are and blah, blah, blah
Yep.
for everything.
Yeah. So we're not looking for any action on this today. Basically, what I want you to do is come to me if you come up with something, as you're just thinking about this in the next month. Come to me. We can discuss it. And again, the big vote will be at our meeting next month, where we approve this. But this is basically the plan. We're not planning any big revisions or changes at this point, waiting just for some final information on a few things. But just wanted you to see it now. Breathe, if anything comes up in the next weeks, let me know if there's any little tweaks you see. I'm expecting Beth to take her red pen and find at least a few things, because that's what she does.
I didn't notice typos actually when I was reading through
and that's
it.
Abby did a lot of, thanks to Abby on a lot of
Yeah,
that. But,
thank you, Abby.
so that's what I've got for you on this. So really, a lot of information, but just wanted you to kind of take a last look at it before we will do a final vote next month. So, and
Nice
just
work, Rob.
yes, Buzz.
Rob, just following up on Jeannie's comments, which I thought was excellent. A lot of times you got to have these ideas explicitly at least mentioned in the plan. Is her app idea explicitly mentioned? Because that could be something that maybe we could find a grant eligible to put somebody on as a summer intern who does this stuff. I know a lot of kids up at UW Eau Claire do this kind of things as their senior project type thing. But if it's explicitly included someplace in the plan, which that would be absolutely awesome to have our bike trails and trout streams and campgrounds and those types of things be able to bring up on an app. Do we have it in the plan?
That's a great point. So what we
Hang on
do?
here, I just got a text from Ann who's watching this upstairs.
Yes.
she's created a tourism web page. It's an
Yep.
app, so I haven't looked at it, but I can, before I leave here, I can go up and ask her if it's got all the trout, fishing, all the things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll text me again, because she is listening.
See, I guess I didn't think of that as much as an app, but let's follow up on that. But
Sure.
to Buzz's point, we do have continue to improve Trempealeau County's online and physical mapping of outdoor recreation opportunities. We can add in the specific piece of the app, and let me check back with Ann and see.
Okay.
I mean, they are much more knowledgeable on, I guess, what is that app? Is that an app? So yeah, let me talk to Ann, and then we can
Yeah.
literally put that into that piece about
Sure.
the mapping and if it's not creating, seeing where we can enhance and even make it more user friendly. So
Yeah.
thank you, Ann, for watching and in
Yes.
real time adding your thoughts on that. So that's what I've got for you.
I had a can you tell me how to get to this plan now? For people watching and myself, I don't know, I just go to the Trempealeau County website and.
Well, so
click on what?
this is still in draft form. I guess at this point, if someone wants to see it, we don't have it up on the website yet, because we have right now it's the 2017 through 2021 plan that's online. This is not online yet because it's a working thing, but I'm more than willing to share. I'll send you, John, and I'll send all the county board members. Actually, we'll be doing that anyway because you'll be looking at your meeting, but anyone who's watching this and wants to get this too, I can send you a copy of it as well. So, and then of course, once we actually adopt it, it'll be built right into right on the web page for people to access.
Okay, good.
All right, thank you
Yeah,
all.
and you get together with Ann, and you guys can figure out
Yeah.
what's already created and how maybe if it needs.
Yeah. And Ann may say, Rob, I told you this a while ago, but that's all right. We'll catch up and just see where that's at. So I can't thank Land Records enough for the work they have done to digitize a lot of this. A big piece of that was when we got the new website. That was sort of a bit of the mandate from IT. They didn't want to deal with physical maps as much on the website, so it forced a lot of this to get put in digital form online. So, all right, thank you. Okay.
Okay, we're moving on to item number 9, broadband expansion update, discussion, possible action.
All right. Let me just get myself organized here. So I only have a few of these, but you can share them. So just an update on what we're working on in the broadband area. So yesterday, just to back up a little bit, as you're probably aware, the county at this time is sort of given initially the Exec Finance Committee the purview to kind of look at what we might be doing with our ARPA funds. And obviously, both this committee with the work that we do, and myself and many others see broadband expansion as being a very valuable piece to what we could do possibly with these ARPA funds. At last month's meeting, we discussed a proposal that looked at maybe using about $3.6 million of ARPA funds. And then in the meantime, Buck Webb from Tri-County Communications and I put together a proposal of what would it look like if the county said we're going to invest all $5.7 million in helping folks get access to broadband here in Trempealeau County. So basically went to the Exec Finance Committee yesterday. George Brandt had asked us to come, and I think every month now for a few months, and John, you're on that committee, you can speak to it, but they're going to be asking groups to come and give their ideas.
I'm going to be meeting with George tomorrow at noon.
Let me know when that oven's hot.
The oven's hot. He's baking bread. Anyway, so what we did is we went to the Exec Finance Committee and we presented what could we do with all $5.7 million. And basically, long story short, the general idea with those funds is 455 miles of fiber could be laid in Trempealeau County with that. Which 455 miles, which would actually,
Fiber optic.
fiber optic, yep, which would go by over 1,700 currently existing locations. So that's both homes and businesses. And of course, those 455 miles don't just help folks that are already in places. If fiber is going half a mile down the road between two buildings, well, now that whole half a mile of land, its value has gone up, and the ability for someone to, in the future, build a home or create a business has been increased exponentially as well. So there would be tremendous benefit. The plan that we put together and just talked to exec finance yesterday, basically how it would break down with working with TCC, with applying with matching grants from the public service commissions. If you put that $5.7 million into broadband, we could theoretically get over $25 million of new broadband expansion in Trempealeau County, which would be incredible. So, in my opinion, there's very few other places where you're going to get the value for the dollars, where you're going to get the return on investments for, again, putting in 5.7 and we get $25 million of expansion in Trempealeau County. And it could really be transformative to people's lives. We all know, everyone here has seen that, how the inequities have bubbled up in the last year and a half based on where you live in Trempealeau County, where opportunity is more in one area than another. And we want to do everything we can. It's our mission as a county to figure out where those inequities are and to decrease them. And that's really what these ARPA funds, when the federal government allocated them, that's really what they were supposed to be used for, helping people's lives that were affected in some way because of the pandemic. So what's also really great, if you think about this, not only are you taking your $5.7 million and getting over $25 million of expansion, Trempealeau County also doesn't have to maintain these lines, this fiber once it's put in. So, there will be lots of great ideas to what to do with these ARPA funds. But if you build a building, county has to maintain it. If you add more staff, county has to eventually get money from the general fund to fund that. But with this, it's not the county having to find new dollars down the road to maintain it. So we're excited about this proposal. One thing that I am actively working on, and I think will be a big piece of the work I'm doing well and through 2022, is reaching out to the townships as well, because an important aspect of this is seeing where the townships want to put some skin in the game. Right now I've got meetings set up with the town of Trempealeau, town of Gale, town of Hale. We're trying to get one set up with the town of Caledonia. But basically, we're going to be reaching out to all the townships to see what their stomach is for putting in some funds as well. Whether it's funds from their ARPA money. Some townships have done referendums saying, hey, are you willing to add $10 onto your tax bill to help expand broadband into your community? Some have done that. We've seen that happen in a township in Buffalo County. So basically, there's a lot of movement on this. There seems to be a lot of excitement. I've gotten many calls. The Trumpeal County Times did a nice article after we talked about this at our PTED meeting last time, and I've gotten a lot of calls on it. I don't know if any of you have, but there's a lot of interest in this. And any township I've reached out to, gotten back to me in the same day, which is pretty incredible. So my hope, we can continue to keep the ball rolling on this. I think it would be a lost opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, if we didn't put at least some money towards this really incredible goal, because again, transformative for people's lives in the county. So I've probably talked enough about it. You can tell where I stand, and I'm pretty excited about the proposal. But so that's kind of where we stand at this time. And again, a big thank you to Buck Webb for coming to the meeting yesterday. He was able to answer a lot of questions. So, yes.
Did you ever think of tying into school districts with this?
You bet. And that was brought up at the meeting yesterday too. The school districts are uniquely positioned to know, like, hey, these are areas where we know students are struggling because they don't have good internet access. So I think that's a piece of tying in when we're in, like, if we're in the South, if we're talking to the town of Trempealeau, town of Gale, town of Caledonia, well, naturally, the Gale to Trempealeau School District should be part of that conversation, because again, they know the areas and the struggles that those kids have dealt with.
I mean, on the thing of throwing something into the pot.
Yeah.
And also.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yes.
The
Yep.
school system in the state of Wisconsin's got a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
don't have a lot of money, but they have some power.
But you're right. No, I think schools, to put some skin in the game too. That was talked about, and I think that'll be something we pursue as well, saying, hey, where are you willing to put something in?
not
There-
only as a kid, but as
Yep.
an employee.
Yeah.
There were kids who actually had to go to library parking lots during quarantine to get access to internet.
Yeah, I saw kids outside the library in Galesville, sitting
Yep,
outside.
Right. Or McDonald's parking lot, or places that have free Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
which really isn't safe.
No, it's not, yeah. And again, not good for the development of the county, so.
Right, right.
So anyway, that's where we stand. This will be something I give you regular updates on, and we're gonna be going full charge ahead, so. Any questions?
No, it's a brilliant, I feel so lucky to have DSL where I'm at, and Unity and Strum. I mean, the internet is so quick there. Faster than when I was on campus. Did we need to take action on
No,
this?
no
Oh,
action.
okay.
Just wanted to give you an
Okay, oh, so
update.
you're
We're-
waiting for me now.
Yep.
Highway 35, 54, 53 near Eckers Farm.
Oh, you know what I wrote? My apologies. So confusing, some of those highways.
It's not
Yeah.
far, but.
No, you're right, it's
It
not,
doesn't
though.
go by there.
Thank you, John. Oh, okay. Well, I think a number of us could,
Talk about this at our county board,
Well,
or
Be-
county board meeting, because
Yeah.
Brett Semmingson brought it up.
actually, yeah, if you want to take the lead on, you can as well.
Just personal experience, having been at Eckers 4 or 5 times this year, it's their growth and their development in what they provide to the public in beer garden and concerts and this time of year apple sales, it gets quite congested. You know, when you compound that with changes in traffic patterns in this county, the road to and from Winona, Galesville, Holman, La Crosse seems to have an unbelievable amount of traffic almost all the time. Well, with the traffic turning in and coming out of Eckers, it's a safety issue. There have been some significant crashes there with injuries, and this is something that needs attention. I know the Law Enforcement Committee will be addressing it more in depth, and I personally want this to go to the Highway Safety Committee that meets quarterly, because we need, at the very least, a turn lane and maybe some, before we get to that point, that's a long-range thing. That takes a lot of money and effort to get that accomplished, but at least some signage. The last time I was down there, they did have event signage up warning drivers from both east and west directions that there is an event coming up and that they should pay more attention. The effectiveness of those signs is, in my mind, kind of questionable, but
What scares me too about that area are so many motorcycles, and they don't get always seen. And then the vineyard is just down the road past Eckers, right? And they're very busy. They've been very busy.
I'll tell you, that area, I live down there and obviously, own a business down that way too. It is incredible, the development down there. I mean, the amount of tourism traffic and entities, but yes, it has created an issue with congestion. And yeah, that turn area, specifically because it's coming off the highway, that's really the issue. People are going 65, 70 miles an hour. They're looking at their,
only
it's only a
55.
curmudgeon, but they're looking at their phone, right? We know that's the reality.
Yep.
And people are not slowing down, and there's no good turn lane in that spot. And I know that, Dan, you can speak this better than I can. DOT traditionally won't put turn lanes in for private businesses.
Correct.
But they could maybe expand the shoulder, do some other things.
And unfortunately, it's been my experience with the Highway Safety Commission, the state operates on statistics, crashes. They want to know how many crashes are there. They're not interested in near crashes.
Yeah.
You could probably sit in the front parking lot at Eckers and total up near crashes all day long. I've always had an issue with that because why wait until it's too late by having somebody crash into somebody? There are several areas in the county that are in the same condition, and I find it frustrating, but, and just because I'm me, I got to mention Highway 53 and 95 at Blair, somebody at the state level, messed up that intersection, and they refused to undo it. But that's another topic for a later date. I would like to see this on the Highway Safety Commission's agenda for their next meeting, and I can talk to the sheriff about getting that done. Like I said, this is going to take some patience to get something done there that I think would be effective in either signage, permanent signage, or turn lanes. As Eckers is not the only issue there. Like you said, El Maro.
El Maro, God, I could not think of it.
Yeah. And that, both of those entities are only growing and generating increased traffic. So the quicker we get on this, I think the better off we'll be.
The last time I was down there, it was like bumper to bumper traffic on 35.
Well, they had a,
Beautiful day, and everything had just opened, and people were out, people have been locked up, and so everybody's out this summer. Something has to
a
happen.
couple of weeks ago, they had a hootenanny down there
Right.
at Eckers, and I don't know how many hundred vehicles were parked, but almost all the way back to the bluffs off of the highway.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people.
In a 3 or 4 car pileup.
Jeannie, this is
A
Jean.
helicopter right on the middle of the road.
Yep.
Yes, Jean?
Just want to let you know, I have the information for this that I was going to report.
Go for it.
Under the Wisconsin Great Road, so do you want me to do it now or wait after?
Yeah, as long as we're on this, just bring it up.
Okay, October 7th, I believe, we, meaning Wisconsin Great River Road, myself, as a Trempealeau County, Wisconsin Great River Road Commissioner, and Sherry Kwame, our chair of the commission, got information from Sabrina Chandler, who is the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Upper Miss manager in regards to the accident that happened at Eckers. And Simon, who is married to Jess Ecker, the oldest of the Ecker girls, had reached out a couple of times prior to this in regards to the situation. And hats off to Eckers, because they have gone above and beyond to the point of creating their own signs, hiring their staff to help, direct traffic in and out. And everything that Dan is saying is absolutely correct, and it's been that way forever. And there was a lot of, fired up people on Facebook. So when we got the information, I went back to the DOT contacts that we partner with and the technical committee for our commission, and the information ended up going to Stacy Rush. My suggestion was that we get together, Wisconsin DOT, State Patrol, Trempealeau County, our sheriff, all the other entities. I don't have my other list, but anyway, long story short, Stacy Rush is our Northwest Regional, traffic operations supervisor, and she and a couple of, the engineers from Trumbull, Buffalo County, and Jeff Emerson, the planning supervisor, met on site on October 18th about these things. And it's funny that Dan say that, and I don't mean funny, haha, but in regards to the crash history in that area, the crash specifically was put, the crash rate is slightly less than the statewide average crash rate in similar roadways. The 4.6 mile stretch of 3554 from West County line to 93 has a 75 crash per 100 million vehicles traveled, compared to the statewide average of 74. Indications of adverse weather, deer driver behaviors, and we all know that people, you know, regardless of all this stuff, people are still not paying attention. They're late for work. They're flying down the road. They're talking on their phones, blah, 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 blah. The implement project considerations is because they're going to be doing the upcoming project, they're going to add center line rumble strips, widening of the asphalt shoulders, and installing shoulder rumble stripes to help with this. They are also eligible for federal highway safety improvement funding. And it's just funny, Dan, that you keep saying this, because it's the total opposite of what they're saying, and it drives me crazy, because you've done this, I mean, all your career, that there's funding out there that could possibly be helped for crash history, trends, so on and so forth. Actors, what they are working with the staff at DOT, which would be Rick Turmeric, he's the traffic engineer. The main issue of the business has outgrown the existing access. They're using private and farm type entrances 18 feet wide for commercial business. Also discussed at the meeting was Western Driveway would provide a safer main access for customers, as current main entrance has only room for a couple. And right when you turn in there, anyone that knows that, there's two right away, there's two handicap spots that are just designated. Then I think you could put, you know, maybe 5 or 6 in there. Also, DOT will be providing Simon with a diagram of what a proper commercial access would look like, 30 feet to 35 feet wide. Improving the radio will continue to coordinate with him. They will also look into potential opportunities to enhance access to the upcoming projects, such as paving wider shoulders. DOT suggested consideration of advanced business entrance signing, and they also made Simon aware that special events for large attendance and expected state highway impacts, like the hootenanny that Dan just brought up, that they can coordinate ahead of time with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation and the other traffic people. So I think that's a good start, like Dan said, and that continue. I have a meeting on Friday. We'll be discussing this as well, and I'll be more than happy to keep you all up to date as what the information that they provide for us. So that's what I got for you on that.
Very helpful.
I'll just add into, you know, I had a pretty extensive conversation with Simon as well a few weeks ago, actually at the hootenanny, probably about 20 minutes or so. And what I told him as well is what we, you know, as a committee could possibly do too is, I want to work with Simon and see like what kind of solutions are they actually looking at that could be practical, and where can we lend our political support? Because at the end of the day, what it's going to come down to is our local elected officials. So our state senator, our state assemblyman, you know, really, I think to take this as an issue as well, because at the end of the day, especially in the unique situation where our state senator is a Democrat, our local representative is a Republican, there can really be some bipartisan action on this. And again, the legislators control the purse strings, right? They set what the DOT budget is and that sort of thing. So what I would like to see us do too, as we go ahead and see what are the practical actually solutions that the DOT might be willing to do, how can we lend our political support, whether it's through letters and calls to our local legislators, letting them know this is a serious issue for the county. And if it does come to that, I hope not just as a committee, but individual members could call their representatives as well. So just want you to, I've been talking to the Eckers on this as well. I know Beth got an email from some constituents too. So it's, yeah, like just basically parroting what Jeannie said. Jean said, it's on a lot of people's minds.
So do we need to take any action or just continue this discussion, or?
Just a quick question. Jeff and Trigg are the representatives for that particular area?
Yep. Jeff is the state senator, covers all Trempealeau County, except for a little piece near Osseo, and then Trigg is all of Trempealeau County again, except a little piece, I think Osseo Town of Sumner, so, yeah.
I heard that he moved to Pepin, but I don't know if that's true.
Jeannie, I'd like to see this kept on our agenda, you know, and we could just leave it there and do some follow-up. You know, as we get more information, just so the rest of the committee knows. And then the other thing too, is the information we get can help, possibly with other, issues in the county, at least that we're working on things and trying to partner with.
Sure.
DOT and.
Sure.
But we can leave this on as a revolving agenda item.
I can't remember all the details, but do you remember when we were dealing with DOT for, when there was a turn lane into the park by the healthcare center, and they took that away from us?
Yep, they said there's only so many per lot line, and
Right.
stuff like that.
So, yeah, it was really,
But
do you
what-
remember that?
But
Okay.
what gets me in Independence there, on the south side going toward Arcadia, where you've got the Mini Mart, the Ready Mix, and Starwood, that's all continuous turning lane there, both sides of the road.
Yeah, we had a big
That's
fight with the
for,
DOT about the
I'd
healthcare
say,
center.
Eighth of a mile?
Yeah. So, yeah, we need to keep this ongoing, because it's not just there. There are other places where this is an issue. And we need to support businesses, and make them safe, so people don't have to worry about turning right into Eckers and not getting rear-ended. Okay, thank you, guys. 11, Petrick Park Master Plan discussion. Ooh, that's you.
I'm Reed for today.
Cool.
The county board, as you guys probably know, county board finalized the Petrick Park acceptance of the donation, thanks to the Shanks for that great donation to the park. And so now going forward, really kind of to kind of develop that 6 acres and deal with other aspects of the park, we're looking at pursuing a master planning process. What that means is we would go out, get some public input regarding the vision of the park. We're going to do a little dreaming of what the park could be, reach out and engage adults as well as youth, and include grade school kids, middle school kids, high school kids, and help us establish a vision for what that park is, use that input also from this committee, and create a concept site plan for amenities at the park. What that will do is give us a path on where to go for funding, for understanding. Part of this master plan would also have estimated costs for each element of the plan. And so ultimately that site plan, concept site plan, would help us qualify for grants and show us that we've done show people we've done our homework. And so to do this, we need help from a engineering company to do the concept site plan and estimate some of those costs. And so what we're looking at is bringing in some requests for proposals for the December meeting. So that's kind of just maybe we don't necessarily need action, but just wanted to let you know. And if you have concerns, let us know now. But that's kind of what we're trying to do is this would kind of help us create that long-term vision for the park.
I feel strongly, my own self, that ARPA funds could be used to support the park because kids and families really suffered a great deal during the pandemic. Kids were denied access to school because of, quarantining, and lots of mental health issues with kids and depression, and offering more outdoor opportunities that are planned and organized, and we have this fabulous place for kids. We need to make a strong case and luckily for me, I'm going to be talking to George about how this money might be used. So I'm a strong advocate for some of the ARPA money going to the park.
And one of the challenges here to really kind of, these planning processes, it takes some time to pull them together and put together the stuff. I could have Reed try to put together something. We wouldn't necessarily have any probably concrete numbers real soon.
Right.
But we can certainly take a look at possibly presenting something to exec finance somewhere down the line here.
Yeah.
But you know, we'd really like to get that concept site plan
Yep.
up, because that really communicates what we're looking to do.
Good. I'm on board.
Okay?
Mike, I guess the comment I would have, I'm totally on board too. How many engineering firms, and I assume you're picking firms that have done parking before?
Right. I think we would probably try to get at least 3. You know, our policy says per dollar amount, you know, with the dollar amount, you have to get more proposals as the cost goes up. So we're probably would be looking at least 3. We would hopefully, we probably ask for more just in case, but we'll be working on those. Reed will start working on that RFP. He's probably already worked on it, but we'll probably get those out in November here when he gets back.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I have on
Okay,
that one.
so we don't need, I mean, we support this. We don't need action yet.
Don't have to,
Okay.
you know, the action will be likely at the December meeting when we
Okay.
bring in the proposals.
God, we're going to be busy in December.
Yeah.
Jean, Great River Road update.
Yes.
Minus
well,
everything else you told us.
So, yeah, that, won't go into that. We'll be meeting on Friday for our quarterly meeting. We will be going over election of new committee members. I told you before about the MRT, Mississippi River Trail. We are working on that signage, information for resolutions. We will be reaching out to the 8 counties, towns, cities, villages for resolutions. We'll be going in person to provide some information in regards to that. Minnesota is signed. Wisconsin is not. We finished with our 2-year GEM grant, and our report is due on the 14th. We had the National Scenic Byway $2,000 grant that we used, and that information has gone back. We submitted a $12,000 DMO tourism ARPA grant, so hopefully, you know, we can get something from that. We're always looking for grants. We meet Wednesday for the marketing and promotion committee. We're working on our visitor guide, so I'll be getting that information to Rob to put some advertising in our guide. We are printing 50,000 visitor guides this year. It's my understanding that Secretary Designate Ann Sayers will be meeting with us tomorrow. She is in the area because the Fall Tourism Conference is in La Crosse in the next couple of days. We are working on with our La Crosse Commissioner Roz Schneck, the Monarch Project with the Rotary Club. When I get some more information on that, I'll be letting everybody know to have an invite Trumpeal County, all of Trumpeal County to participate. We're looking at doing some packets of seeds, and we're trying to think of a different name, but this is how they used it as butterfly bombs, but the bombs part wouldn't be a good thing. So we're working on a different name for that, and then we'll get a legislative update from the senators and our representatives. And we're continuing to follow the COVID policies that the state has. And we had our annual meeting, virtual meeting, a couple weeks ago, which went okay. So there's a lot more, but I'm not going to bore you with it. That's just 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Oh.
Correction. I want to thank again Jeannie, Rob, and John Austin, excuse me, for coming down for our AAR proclamation. And then I went the 18th, I believe it was, and did the proclamation with John in front of the whole county board, so it can be hung in the the county building. But again, I want to thank John and Jeannie and Rob for the support of that. It means a lot to me and to our commission, and hopefully we'll always have a good partnership. Now I'm done.
Okay, and I love the River Road, so it was a pleasure to be there. Even though it was 150 degrees in the sun.
Oh, it was evil.
God. Okay, great. Thanks, Jean. Thanks for all your hard work with the Mississippi Great River Road and everything that you do with tourism. It's critical to our group. 13, PTAD donation to Wisconsin Land and Water Conference silent auction.
Well, this is something Beth had asked to be put on the, Becky can speak on it, I think.
Okay, so the Wisconsin Land and Water Conference is coming up in March, and we usually have, we ask for donations from, you and PTED to try to put something together. We tried to do a basket. Last year, we had to do everything gift certificate-wise because it had to be mailed out. This year, the silent auction is still going to be online, but we can actually get items this year because they are going to be picked up at the conference.
Oh, cool.
So we are not responsible for any shipping or anything like that. We don't have to go directly with gift certificates. We could get the wine again or the, any like bike and bean. We did like the coffee beans and stuff before. We can actually have items. So
Where is the conference?
this year it is at the Chula Vista, I feel like it.
Oh, okay.
They haven't really put out a lot yet on it. We can't register for it yet.
Okay.
But they did send us the information to start doing the silent auction work, so we can get that over to them.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to donate, we are happily taking donations. I know Beth had already talked to me about this. She will be donating another 2-night stay at Petrick Park, which did get used a month ago or so now by the gentleman who won it. And he actually put a thank you note on the little yellow envelope where the money goes, saying that he appreciated our donation and he enjoyed the park, so.
Cool. Is
Yeah,
there a
for-
deadline for getting this stuff to you? Like if we wanted to do an individual thing as well as the PTED?
They want us to report to them what we're talking about bringing prior to the actual event, but I would think that if I got it by February, you guys would still be fine.
So we have time.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Any
Keep that
questions?
on the agenda so we don't forget about it.
Will do.
Reed's update and your update.
Well,
Do you have anything more to report from Reed, or are you gonna do?
Well, I'll just say, we're down to one mark at the park. Finishing up mowing and some brushing and stump work, stuff like that. There are a number of people utilizing the fall special, some deer hunters out
cool.
there
Okay.
utilizing the park. But we're kind of getting to that point of wrapping things up for the season.
Yeah, except it's gonna be in the 60s this weekend, so.
Yeah, quite the swing from a low of in the 20s and,
Right.
but.
So yeah, we've had a great fall. It's been beautiful. so.
Great, yeah. So that's what's going on there.
Okay.
Mike, this is Jean.
Okay,
I sent
Jean.
you an email in middle of October, and my system is so screwy, so I don't know if it went into your spam. Was just wondering if I could take up a couple minutes of your time and chit chat with you.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
I will-
I'll track you down your email and I'll give you a call.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Go for it, Rob.
All right. Well, a lot I discussed in what we talked about today, but like Jean mentioned, we applied also for a ARPA direct marketing organization grant for about $19,000, a little over that, and we are waiting to hear back on that still. So keeping our fingers crossed, but that would be pretty incredible if we ended up getting those dollars for what we could do here in 2022. So still waiting on that. As soon as I hear anything, I will let you know. I don't know know if we have met since, we had our budget hearings. Obviously, I asked for a pretty significant increase for marketing for our budget, and that did, knock on wood, it did get through the Exec Finance Committee. Of course, nothing is finalized until your November board meeting, which is next week. So that is a good thing. It looks like our budget's anyway passed without any changes from how we submitted it. So that's, I guess, to me, that's such a huge step in the right direction for actually providing the funding we need to do the marketing of Trempealeau County. Obviously, I talked about the broadband issue, something I'll be spending a lot of time working on. Finalizing where we're going to be doing some more traditional, we've gotten away from more traditional print advertising over the years just because we've moved more into digital formats. But my plan for 2022 is that, we're going to look to advertise in the Winona, the La Crosse, and the Great River Road guides. Specifically because, our goal really is to bring folks, we want folks that are in Trempealeau County to explore other parts of Trempealeau County, but we want to bring new people in. And a lot of the folks that come into Trempealeau County, they're doing it because they've also come to visit La Crosse or Winona or Eau Claire, but Eau Claire does not have a formal visitor's guide like that. So, and of course, the Great River Road, we've always had a great partnership with them, and because so many folks are coming in through the Great River Road, I see that as being important. So I believe those are the three that we are going to advertise in.
Have you considered one of the documents I've seen with regularity is the Indian Head Guide Tourism?
Yes.
I know we're on the southernmost reaches of that, but it is pretty
Personally, I
elaborate
think
guide.
it is the price for the.
Oh.
I guess I'm looking for best bang for our buck,
Yep.
and there are a lot of things we could advertise in. I think we have to be a bit selective. Also, the Arrowhead Guide does not have much of an online presence, which again is where a lot of folks are looking to do, looking to gather information. People want the mix. They want the physical, but they also want to be able to look online. And I think that's one area where Arrowhead maybe hasn't. There isn't much of an online presence, where the La Crosse and Winona guides and Great River Road as well, more than ever, is doing more digital. So I guess I like that mix. But I get what you're saying. There's lots of good places we could advertise. Just think we have to be selective a bit. Yeah. Working, part of something we've done in the last year is we've harvested a lot of emails based on our tourism campaigns that we've done. We're up to about 1,500 emails we have. And one piece that I'm working on right now is figuring out what is our plan for 2022 on how often we're going to do an email campaign. Are we going to do it every couple weeks, that sort of thing, and what the structure of that would look like. So what I'm envisioning is, an email that goes out, talks about some things to do in Trempealeau County, maybe has some deals that are going on in the county, that sort of thing. I'm leaning towards every other week on that, but that's still something that I'm putting together, as well as a more broad-based kind of 2022 work plan that I'm going to work with Mike on. We've talked about this outdoor rec plan obviously has a lot in it, and then what are other priorities, other things that are part of a work plan for the next year that'll just kind of help you as a committee stay informed on what I'm up to, and also just give me a good guide as well. So there's so much we always can be working on, but we need to have some fundamental goals going into the year on, these are some fixed things that we really want to pursue and continue to work on. So like Jeannie mentioned, State Tourism Conference this Thursday and Friday. I will be at that. It's down in the La Crosse Center. So I'm really excited to be able to do some networking down there, see what other counties and organizations are up to. And there's some really great sessions, specifically like on digital marketing and that sort of thing, which, because we are more and more moving into that, I think it'll be really useful. Just a lot of moving parts right now, but of course there always is. So as we look into 2022 here. Bob.
Yeah, what you presented there, we're coming into a new year. Did you ever consider, filming some of these outdoor activities right now? You got deer hunting, very big in the state of Wisconsin, ice fishing contest. Putting this together with the TV studio, having a a TV segment, or not a segment, but a commercial that you have. You see other counties doing this. A list of different things, first quarter coming up, sport shows. Where is Trempealeau County gonna be represented at these sport shows and stuff like that, you know? You are a tourism director, you know, to go to these things and promote Trempealeau County.
Yeah. You know, I am totally down for going to more physical events. I agree with that. The trouble is the balance of being in the office as well. And I guess the answer to that is yes, I'd like us to be at things. I also need to be here in the office, and you know, it's the balance. It's the balance, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm sure, like, if you've got a slack time on Monday or Tuesday, you work Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. I'm open to that flexibility. I guess a lot of that comes down to
Your boss.
to where Mike sees that flexibility as well, so.
And another thing, one of the things we're waiting for is the 2022 budget. You know, the department and Rob requested an additional $11,000 for marketing prior to 2021. I think the marketing budget was what, zero, Rob? or
Like 5
Vicki?
cents,
Well,
maybe.
It was
Couple thousand.
couple
Yeah, it wasn't very
thousand.
much, yeah.
It was eaten up in a few ads.
So, you know, to go to one of these sports shows, you're talking about some kind of booth, registration fees, some of those kinds of things, travel. So part of this is before we come back with this annual work plan, is we want to see what that budget's going to be. And we don't know I mean, it's not official till it's official, so,
Yeah, even putting up a booth, I know when I used to work in treatment foster care, our booth was, the minimum was $250.
Right.
And you could go up to the silver whatever or gold.
so I think
It's expensive.
Right, so I think one of the, you know, what I emphasized to Rob is it would be really good for him and the committee to agree upon a work plan. You know, take some of the ideas and the outdoor rec plan and things, and then that way, yeah, the expectations are kind of, have been discussed and communicated, and then that way throughout the year, he'll be able to report back to what that
Right.
is. So that could be, some sports shows may be in there, but we'll be taking a look at that and coming back to the committee probably and having this discussion in January.
Okay, and you are using the TV station. They've been down to the park, they were down at the Great River Road. I mean, you filmed that yourself and put it on Facebook.
But I do agree. Listen, my favorite place to be is out in the field at events, trying to promote them. I guess it's the balance on what we can do. But I love that. I mean, that's I'm the happiest when I'm doing that kind of work. But there's it's the balance of all the work, I guess. You know.
There's enough activities, you know,
Yeah.
winter and spring, just to go to these
Yeah.
events, you know. We had made a comment a couple months ago, you
Yep.
know, get yourself either a jacket or some shirts that say Trempealeau County Tourism.
Yeah.
And market yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody's gonna recognize you with a black t-shirt on and a baseball hat on.
Yeah.
We're there,
You look this professional, show up to an ice fishing contest or something like that. Well, welcome to Trempealeau County.
Yeah.
you have
Yep,
shirts, don't you guys have?
We still don't have. That is something we need to do, is get tourism shirts. And you're right. I do try to get to events, go live on the tourism page, but if we can do more of that, I'm very open to that. I agree, and we've got the assets to make really high production value videos. You know, so it's a balance of my time.
Yeah.
Get
But I
together
agree.
with the studio, you know, you take some hunting pictures, some fishing pictures, snowmobiling. Trempealeau County's very great for snowmobiling.
Yeah.
You know, put everything together and make one TV spot out of it.
Let's pray for snow.
Well, and that is one piece of this DMO grant we put together as well, is we are going to put an actual ad together with the studio that we would run, you know, may not be on television, and maybe more digital advertising. When people are watching a video, it would pop up. But again, yeah, a lot of it has come down to the budget piece. But I agree with you, Bob. I agree with everything you're saying, actually, but pray for snow. I agree with that, too.
Well, I remember praying for snow once, and then we got like 27 inches the next day or something, so. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, not right now. I've already been in a blizzard. I don't need another one this year.
December 9th, it looks like, is the first Tuesday of December. Excuse me, I'm sorry, December 7th. It's the 9th. I guess that's up to the committee, 8:30 or 9, up to you
9
guys.
a.m. is good for
Is that
me.
giving you enough time to get that outdoor plan? Like if we would move it up to November 30th?
Oh, you bet. I mean, the plan is 95%. Yes, we're, whatever you guys wanted, we
We're almost
could
done.
make work.
It's almost done.
You're
Yep.
dealing with Christmas and, with a county board meeting, if that's moved up or something like that.
No, our county board meeting will stay the same in December.
It's
It's
just,
like the 22nd or something.
If we're gonna get some RFPs back for the December meeting, it would be nice to have the December 7th date.
Yeah. When is,
Okay, just a suggestion.
it makes sense.
oh yeah, the 20th is our next county board meeting in December.
12/7 at 9, and I will get this room reserved for us. All right.
Ooh, there's 5 Tuesdays in November. In case anybody's interested. Okay, we're adjourned.